We're now moving into Module 7, and Module 7 is going to be dealing with systems of equations and being able to solve them. And we're going to be looking first at linear equations. We are going to look a little bit at inequalities, mostly just as a reference, but we're going to take care of these systems of linear equations first. So in 7.1, we're going to learn one method to be able to do that. That method is to graph. And so when we're graphing a system of equations, then we graph them, figure out where they cross, and that's what is known as the solution. So a couple of vocabulary terms. First off is systems of equations. That is where we have two or more equations with the same variables. Now, what does that mean? That means we have two equations that have x and y, or two equations that have a and b, or so on. Normally, of course, we're going to be dealing with x and y. Consistent systems are those that have at least one solution. So a consistent system would tell me that my two lines would cross at least one time. So they're going to cross in that particular case. And then we have inconsistent systems of equations where they never cross. So there is no solution. So of course, if you remember that from the past, that is parallel lines. And then we have, they can either be independent or dependent. Now, only consistent systems can be independent or dependent. Independent means that they have one solution, like this example up here. And dependent means that, and if we were to draw a line over that line again, that would mean that we have an infinite number of solutions because they are the same line. Okay, so inconsistent are parallel, and dependent are consistent and they're dependent. Lines that cross one time are consistent and independent. Okay. So what does that mean? So here we have 3x minus 4 equals negative 1/2 x plus 10. Now, how would I solve that? So I normally would solve that by moving things around, meaning that I would put the x's to one side and the numbers to the other side and solving for x. So one method is to solve. So I could solve, or I could graph. Now, what does that mean by graph? So we have the first equation, which is this one right here. We're going to look at that equal sign and we're going to split it up. So we're going to have y equals 3x minus 4. And then we have our other equation, which is the other side of the equal signs. That's negative 1/2 x plus 10. And then you'll notice from that, my slope is 3, my y-intercept is negative 4, my slope on this side is negative 1/2, and my y-intercept is 10. So what we can do now is we can go over to Desmos. So of course, remember that I'm encouraging you to use that. It's a good way to check your answers. I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. You log in too. Make sure you sign in with Google. It'll just take care of it automatically, and you can sign in. So if we go right to the graphing calculator, we have y equals 3x minus 4. That's my first equation. So that's what we had in that very first equation there. 3x minus 4, and then negative 1/2 x plus 10. So if I come over here, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 10. And then what we do is we look at where they cross. We notice that they cross right here. And of course, we're looking for the x value because that's what we're looking for in the original problem. You can see that this equation only has x's in it, so we're solving for x. So you'll notice that x will equal 8. So if I were to actually do the solving of that particular equation that we just looked at, I will get a value of x equals 8. And why is that? Because they cross at 4, 8. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. It's not 8. What was I saying? Let me make sure I clear it up. It's a good thing I wrote that down. Take that back. X equals 4. So remember that this is my x value. This is my y value. What we have written down. And this is another good reason why you have notes in front of you to make sure that you get those correct. So my value would be x equals 4. If I plug in 4 into this equation here, you'll notice that I get 3 times 4 minus 4 equals negative 1/2 times 4 plus 10. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 4, negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2 plus 10. And then you'll notice that 8 equals 8. And you'll notice that 8 is that y value that we got up there. So that's how you would go through and solve them by graphing. Assign each side to an equation and then graph both of those lines, and then you'll figure it out. And we'll go on to the next video for the rest of the material now.